What is considered the most hazardous occupation in America? You'll find out as one of these three contestants wins the chance to drive home in this brand new Pontiac Grand Am in just a split second. And now, here's the star of our show, Monty Hall.
Thank you very much, and welcome to our show. Welcome, everybody. I hope that you have a good time here today, watching our three contestants match their wits with one another. Did you answer the question at the top of the show? Believe it or not, the American Council of Life Insurance says that farming is the most hazardous occupation in America because of all the machinery that farmers use. I thought it was being an MC. I mean, when you're an MC and sometimes you give the wrong information, you want to know what hazardous is. Watch those contestants go at you. But not these three people. They're nice and they won't go after me at all. Calvin Galachuk is our winner. He dethroned a 3-day champion and stopped her in her 4th day. Picked up about $425 and then turned down a trip to the Bahamas. He said, I'm going to come back and win the car. Well, today is an opportunity for you, the 2nd day, and we wish you a lot of luck, too.
Thank you.
Very good. And the other two people, who are the new ones?
Well, our first challenger, Monty, is a lady who went to Paris for a trip and kept getting lost, even though she kept the Eiffel Tower in sight all the time. Doina Farisian. And on your right, a lady who once spent 2 long hours in a cemetery reading tombstones while waiting for a friend, Joanne Zone.
We'll get more on those stories from Doina and Joanne later, and Calvin, our new champion, trying for a 2nd win today. Let me explain how we play the game. Every question comes with 3 answers. You're required to come up with just 1 answer each in the first 2 rounds. If all 3 of you come up with an answer, it's going to be worth $10 to you. If 2 of you come up with an answer, it's $25. If one person is the only one to answer a part of the question, that means $50 in the first round. And you buzz in as soon as you see the question on the screen, but not till then. If you buzz in too fast, we have a lockout device which makes you go last. So you have to have perfect timing and, of course, a lot of intelligence. So here we go. From Cosmopolitan to Vogue, there are all kinds of women's magazines on the newsstands. I'll show you 3 of them with incomplete titles. You pick one and fill in the missing word. Look at the screen. Day, housekeeping, and circle. Now, you see, Calvin, you pressed in before the full question was there, and you have to go last. Joanne.
Good housekeeping?
Good housekeeping. Yes, Doina. Women's Day. Women's Day, and the last one, Calvin?
Family circle.
Yes, no matter going third, you still got the answer. So $10 for each of you. You don't have to be a drinker to know what country gave us the liqueurs I'm going to show you. Pick one and name its country of origin. Look at the screen. There they are, cherry herring and liqueur Galliano and chartreuse. And Joanna's first.
Chartreuse, France.
That's correct. And Calvin?
Liqueur Galliano, Spain.
No, I'm sorry. Doina?
Liqueur Galliano, Italy.
Yes, and cherry herring was Denmark. So Doina and Joanne get $25 each. Icing is a term associated with hockey. Quarterback is a term with football. Now tell me what sport names or terms are these associated with. Look at the screen. Pelota, silly mid-on, and scrum. Aren't they silly names, Calvin?
Well, silly mid-on is cricket.
That's right. It's a fielder in cricket. Doina?
Scrum is soccer.
No, I'm sorry. Joanne?
Scrum football.
No, rugby.
Oh.
Rugby, when they all get together and knock their brains out. You know how it is, when they all get together and they throw a little ball in the middle. And the other one, a pelota, is the name for the high-lie and for the ball in high-lie. It's called a pelota, and don't ever get hit by that, let me tell you. So, Calvin, you're the only one who scored the sports question. You pick up $50 and take over the lead. Now, here's a list of fictional bad guys. You match them up with good guys, their most famous adversaries. Look at the screen. Here are the bad guys: Injun Joe, Sheriff of Nottingham, and Professor Moriarty. Calvin.
Sheriff of Nottingham was Robin Hood.
Yes, that was his adversary. And Doina?
Professor Moriarty is Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, and who was the good guy that went along with Injun Joe, Joanne?
Custard.
No, Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer. Calvin and Doina, $25 each. Brenda Lee, Johnny Lee, and Peggy Lee have all made major hit records. I'll give you the titles of 3 of those hits. Pick one and tell me if it's a Brenda, John, or Peggy Lee hit. Look at the screen. Looking for Love, Fever, and Break It To Me Gently. Doina.
Fever is Peggy Lee.
Yes. Joanne?
Looking for Love, Johnny.
Yep. Calvin?
Break It To Me Gently, Brenda Lee.
Yes. No trick question this time. Sometimes we use the same person for all of them. But give me your leads. And get $10 each. The capital of Argentina is Buenos Aires, and the capital of Peru is Lima. Here are three other South American countries. Pick one and name its capital. Look at the screen. Brazil, Chile, and Uruguay. Joanne.
Sorry.
And it's a buzzer. Doina?
The capital of Brazil is Brasilia.
Yes, Calvin?
Montevideo is the capital of Uruguay.
That's right. And Santiago, the capital of Chile. Calvin and Doina, $25 each. Let's look at the score. Halfway through this first round, Calvin has $120, Doina $95, Joanne $45. Inventing blue jeans made Levi Strauss famous. Here are three other inventions that made their inventors famous. Pick an item. Name the inventor. Look at the screen. Wireless telegraph, Kodak camera, and air brakes. Calvin.
Wireless telegraphy was Marconi.
Yes, that's right. Doina.
William Kodak.
No, not right. Joanne?
Edison.
No,
Kodak
George
camera?
Eastman, the Kodak camera, and George Westinghouse for air brakes. Believe it or not, Calvin, you pick up $50. Our champion has the big lead. Colors are often associated with our moods, so I'm going to name three colors. You fill in the mood that's missing to make the popular color saying. Look at the screen. Red with, green with, and a brown. Calvin.
Green with envy.
Yes, and the other contestant's looking at you that way. Doina.
Red with anger.
Red with anger, if you don't win. Joanne.
In
a brown-
brown depression.
In a brown, well, almost in a brown study. And Doina and Calvin, $25 apiece again. Was there really a King Arthur, or was he a legend? Nobody really knows, but we do know about the three people I'm going to show you. Pick one, tell me if that person was real or legendary. Look at the screen. William Tell, Bluebeard, and Richard the Lionhearted. Real or legendary? Calvin.
William Tell was real.
He was not. He was legendary. Now, isn't that something? Joanne.
Richard the Lionhearted was real.
Yes, and the Bluebeard
Was real.
was real. Isn't it interesting? I would have answered that the William Tell was real too, but if somebody concocted that story with the apple on top of the head and so on. And you know what that does for you? Nothing. And Doina and Joanne gives you $25 each. Oscar Hammerstein has written the lyrics to some of our greatest songs that have been featured first on Broadway and then in movie musicals. Here are three Hammerstein songs. Name the musical that they come from. Look. Hello, Young Lovers, Old Man River, and Some Enchanted Evenings.
Some
Calvin.
Enchanted Evenings from South Pacific.
Yes, that's right. Joanne.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Doina?
Old Man Rivers from Showboat.
Yep, and Hello, Young Lovers from The King and I. Do you remember that? A wonderful song, wonderful show. Calvin, Doina, $25 apiece. And now $220, $170, and $70 for Joanne. Shall we dance? I'm going to show you the names of three popular folk dances. Pick one and tell me the country of its origin. Look at the screen. The Chardish, the Mazurka, and the Hopak. Calvin.
Mazurka from Hungary.
Sorry. Doina?
The Mazurka from Czechoslovakia.
Still sorry. Joanne?
Mazurka from Greece.
No, you all picked on Mazurka, and you're all wrong. The Mazurka is from Poland, and the Chardash is Hungary, and the Hopak is from Russia. No points on that round. The round is over. Calvin has the lead. Doina is second, Joanne third. We double the stakes in our next round. Coming right up. Talking to our contestants and finding out something about Doina. I was interested in knowing that you got lost, but you're supposed to watch the Eiffel Tower and still got lost. How does that happen?
Well, all my friends kept saying, watch the Eiffel Tower, and you'll never get lost. So I ended up at the Eiffel Tower, and I still didn't know how to get anywhere. I knew how to get to the Eiffel Tower, nowhere else.
Yeah, come to think of it, that's kind of silly because you don't get away from it, right?
That's right.
Or I thought that maybe you're watching the Eiffel Tower, kept walking around Paris, look at the Eiffel Tower, and finding yourself 360 degrees all the way around.
Banging into buildings.
Bang into buildings, right. Joanne, reading gravestones, is that a hobby of yours?
No, although every year I get together with a group of friends and we have a car rally. And this year they introduced a new wrinkle to it whereby they separated the driver and the navigators for a portion. And I was left in the cemetery and my driver was supposed to come back in 20 minutes. And 2 hours later, there I was. She got hopelessly lost.
Do you find anything interesting reading gravestones? I know that in New York, I love when I go down to New York and go down to the old original part of it, and the oldest cemeteries in the United States are there, and you read some of these stones and it tells you about people way back in 1650. It's very exciting.
It's fascinating.
Did you find some interesting things?
I did.
Tell me one.
I
One
did.
thing.
Oh. The one thing that really touched me was the young children that died.
Ah,
back.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Isn't that, and it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. Sometimes there are inscriptions to show the heartbreak.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Joanne and Doina, for talking with us. And Calvin is our champion. Of course, we know something about him. We go into the second round. We double the stakes now. So if 3 of you come up with the right answer, it's worth $20 each. If 2 of you come up with the right answer, it's $50. If only 1 comes up with the answer, it's $100. A chance for Joanne to make a comeback in this round. Here we go. The United States is divided into 4 time zones, each with a specific name. Now, here are 3 cities. Pick one and tell me what time zone it's in. Look at the screen. New Orleans, Denver, and Las Vegas. Calvin?
Denver is in Central Time, or Mountain Time.
Mountain Time. You just got that in under the wire. Joanne?
Las Vegas Pacific Time?
Yes. And Doina?
New Orleans would be Atlantic time?
No, Central Time. Central Time. Calvin and Joanne get $50 each. Hollywood is a land of romance where stars marry stars. So here are 3 famous wives of 3 famous husbands. Pick one, tell me her husband's famous show business name. Who is Jessica Tandy married to? Ann Jackson or Rhea Perlman? Doina? None of them. Calvin?
Ann Jackson was married to,
To Mr. Buzzer. Joanne?
Jessica Tandy, Hugh Cronin.
Hume Cronin. Let me see. She said Hugh Cronin. The answer is Hume Cronin. The producer says, I'm going to give it to her. And so you get $100 all by yourself. Ann Jackson's married to Eli Wallach. And they've been married for a long, long time. And Rhea Perlman is married to Danny DeVito. And these 2 got together, just about 4 or 5 years ago and got married. And very interesting, both of them on hit series at the time. So with that, Joanne, you jump right into second place. What musical instruments are associated with these famous musicians in the classical field? Look at the screen. Jean-Pierre Rampal, Paderewski, and Rostropovich. Calvin?
Rostropovich was a cellist?
That's right, and a marvelous one. Doina?
Rampal is a flautist?
That's right. And what about Paderewski? What did he play?
Violin.
No, he played the piano, Joanne. Doina and Calvin, $50 each. The U.S. government, like all governments, likes to use initials for their various departments, such as IRS for the Internal Revenue Service. Here are 3 other popular government abbreviations. Pick one, tell me what it means. Look at the screen. The FAA, the FCC, the FTC. Joanne?
FCC, Federal Communications Commission.
That's right. Calvin?
Federal Aviation Commission, FAA.
FAA is Federal as long as you got the word aviation in, that's what I was looking for. And Doina, how about FTC? Take a guess.
Federal Travel Commission?
Oh, it's a good guess. Federal Trade Commission is the one. So Calvin and Joanne get $50 each. Now we'll go to political leaders. Heads of state come and go, but while they're with us, they make the daily headlines. Here are 3 famous former world leaders. Pick one and name his country. Look at the screen. Tito, Franco, Clemenceau. Doina?
Franco is Spain.
Correct. Joanne?
Clemenceau, France.
Right.
Tito is Yugoslavia.
3 right. 3 get $20 apiece. We all know that a dromedary is a kind of camel, but do you know what kind of animal these are? Look at the screen. Himalayan and Balinese, Saluki and Shih Tzu, and Morgan and Arabian. Calvin?
Shih Tzu is a kind of dog.
Joanne?
Morgan and Arabian horse.
Right. And how about the other one? Himalayan and Balinese.
Goat?
No, cat. Calvin and Joanne, $50 apiece. Let's look at the score. The champion has 440. Joanne has 340. Donna has 240. We all know that there are many names for hats and things that you wear on your head. So here are 3 items. Pick one and tell me yes or no if it's something to wear on your head. Look at the screen. Do you wear a tiara, a taupe, and a tricorn? Calvin?
The tiara you wear on your head.
You sure do. Toina?
Tricorn you wear on your head?
Yes, Napoleon wore them. Joanne?
Taupe, yes.
Nope, that's a heavy drinker. It's a taupe, that's what he is. You wouldn't wear him on your head or anywhere for that matter. Calvin and Toina will give you $50 each. The answer to these questions is by the numbers. Pick a line and fill in the missing number that completes the title of a hit movie. Look at the screen. How many faces of Eve, easy pieces, and the blows? Doina?
The 3 faces of Eve?
The 3 faces of Eve is right. Joanne?
5 easy pieces.
Right. And?
400 blows.
400 blows. Good for you, Calvin. And all 3 again are right. Then get $20 each. I'm going to show you 3 books of the Bible. You tell me if they're found in the Old or the New Testament. It's that easy. Look at the screen. Galatians, Titus, and Psalms. And Joanne?
Psalms, the Old Testament.
Correct. Doina?
Titus, the Old Testament.
No, Titus is new. And Calvin?
Galatians is in the New Testament.
That's correct. And so Calvin and Joanne pick up $50 each. 560, 410, and 310, as Joanne's in second place. Audrey Hepburn and Katharine Hepburn are 2 of the silver screen's greats. I'll give you the titles of 3 films. Pick one, tell me which Hepburn had the lead role. Look at the screen. There are your pictures. The Children's Hour, The Philadelphia Story, and 2 for the Road. Calvin?
Katharine Hepburn was in the Philadelphia Story.
Yes, wasn't that a performance? Joanne?
Audrey Hepburn, Two for the Road.
That is correct, and leaves you with the children's hour.
Audrey Hepburn?
Audrey Hepburn is right. 3 correct answers, $20 each. Charles Dickens has given us some of the most famous characters in fiction. I'll name 3 of his characters. Pick one. Name the book they appear in. Look at the screen. Pip, Mr. Micawber, and Sidney Carton. Calvin.
Sidney Carton was in A Tale for Two Cities.
Yes, that's right. Joanna?
Pip is Great Expectations?
Yes. And Joanne?
Mr. Micawber, David Copperfield.
Correct. All 3 correct. All 3 get $20 each. Good round. Good scores. You people are doing very, very well, because at the end of the second round it's a close race, but Calvin, our champion, is in the lead. Joanne is second, Don is third. Calvin will have an edge in the countdown round. We'll explain that after these messages. Well, this is the countdown round, which determines who goes for the car. The questions are just as before, but with this twist, this time when you buzz in, you can give me 1, 2, or 3 answers to that question. Each time you give a correct answer, you count down 1 number. Whoever gets to 0 first is the winner. Now, how many numbers do you have to count down in this handicap race? Well, that was determined by how much money you raised in the 2 rounds. The champ, Calvin, he has the most money. He only has to answer 4. Joanne is second. She has to answer 5. Doyne is third. She will have to answer 6 questions before the others to be the champion. But when you answer 3 in a row, you could make a comeback. This determines who goes for the car. Get ready. I'm going to give you the names of 3 women who won Nobel Prizes in the fields of peace and chemistry and physics and literature. You tell me which Nobel Prize each lady won. Look at the screen. There is Marie Curie, and there's Mother Teresa, and then there's the other Curie. Joanne.
Mother Teresa, Peace.
That's right. You may continue.
Marie Curie, Science.
I said physics or chemistry or literature or peace. And I'm sorry, I can't accept science. Calvin.
Marie Curie won it for chemistry.
That is correct.
And
you may continue.
the other one's literature.
No, the other one was also chemistry. Strangely enough, 2 Curies won it for chemistry. And Marie Curie also won it for physics in a different year. So take a look at the score. Calvin needs 3, could go out the next question. Joanne needs 4, Doyne still needs 6. I'll give you the name of 3 famous books that became hit Oscar movies. Name the well-known authors of these books. Look at the screen. Tom Jones, From Here to Eternity, The Godfather, Doyna.
Mary Puzo?
For which one, dear? You have to name the
Godfather.
Fine, you may continue. Now we have to buzz you out. Joanne?
My mind's a blank.
Mind's blank. Calvin, how about you?
Henry Fielding for Tom Jones, and From Here to Eternity is James Jones.
Good for you. Calvin scores down twice, and all he needs now is 1 to win the game, become a champion again. Doyne needs 5, Joanne needs 4. You can do it on this question. The ancient Greeks and Romans worshipped many of the same gods, but they gave them different names. I'll give you the Greek name, you give me the Roman name. Look at the screen. There are the Greek names, Eros, Ares, and Poseidon. Doyne, you're in.
Eros is Cupid?
Eros is Cupid. Yes, continue.
Poseidon is Midas?
No, I'm sorry. You're next, Calvin. You need 1.
Poseidon is Neptune.
You've got yourself another win. Ares is Mars, the god of war, and so we have Calvin winning himself another championship, and Doyna and Joanne just couldn't dethrone him. And Doyna picks up $350, Joanne picks up $450, and you can count that while reading gravestones. Don't get lost in Paris again. And as for you, Calvin, a 2-time winner, let's take a little walk up. Charlotte is waiting for you to show you that beautiful automobile you're going for. Calvin, this is the car you're going for. Let's have Sandy describe it.
All right, Monty, here it is. The sporty Pontiac Grand Am, equipped with all of Grand Am's standard features like the fuel-injected 4-cylinder engine, cruise control, and AM/FM stereo cassette player, plus air conditioning.
All right, this is the way we're going to play the old game. 5 screens back there. 3 of them say car. You pick out the 3 and you get the car. Any of the others, and you're going to get yourself a trip to Bahamas, and we'll hear about that trip right now.
Well, Calvin will fly you and a companion to sunny Nassau in the Bahamas, playground of the Western world. You'll stay at a first-class hotel and enjoy fine dining, dancing, and all the water sports this vacation destination is famous for.
Well, you get 3 selections. Let's get 3 cars. What are your 3 numbers?
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4, just like that. Let's take a look and see what's behind number 2. And Sherilyn points it out, and it says vacation. Right off the bat, we've knocked you off the box. Just like that. your other selections, 3 has a car, and 4, what did 4 have behind that? And 4 had a car. The one you didn't get was where? 1 or 5? Turn it around and let's see where the car was hiding. Was it behind 1? No, it was behind 5. So the selections today were 3, 4, and 5. You said 2, 3, 4, but you have earned yourself the vacation. Now, because you're a 2-time winner, I ante the little gift a little up because you not only have the vacation, but $1,000 to spend on that vacation if you want to. And go home, or you say, no, I'll pass up the 1,000 and the vacation and come back and try and win the car tomorrow.
Oh, I'll try for the car again.
Oh, you like that car. All right. Well, we hope very much that you can win it. Incidentally, you were whispering to me during the commercial break that you came from one of the large metropolitan centers of Canada. What was that called?
Russell, Manitoba.
Russell, just for those of you all through the United States who wonder where Russell, Manitoba is, forget it, it's not on the map. But you are going to put it on the map if you win that car here. And here are the other contestants who played with you today. And Sherilyn is applauding for you and hopefully he comes back and wins tomorrow. Right, Sherilyn? All right, we'll try very hard. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back. Sherilyn and I will be back with Russell, not Russell, Manitoba, but with Calvin on tomorrow's show. Goodbye, everybody.
Split second is a Stephen Haynes mighty.